Welcome to Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature and explore the provocative inner force compelling us toward our fullest potential. If you've achieved external success but feel a deeper calling, if you're tired of dimming your light to fit in, and you know there's a more powerful way to live and lead and love, you're in the right place. Host Donna is a best-selling author, modern-day high priestess, and catalyst for personal transformation. Together, we're birthing a new paradigm of loving leadership, integrating our humanity with divine wisdom as our individual awakening serves collective evolution. Here's your host of Spiritual Ambition, Donna Bond.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome in our show today. I am. These two tiny little words that are creating our reality. These aren't just words. This is the presence of the being within us. And when we speak or think, I am, we are quite literally enlisting the help of our higher self, and we are calling forward the energy of our multidimensionality to go to work creating in our life. Nobody can say these words, I am, on your behalf. You are the only one who can access this power. So the question is, are you using these words to consciously create a life that you love, that's in alignment with your soul's desire and your soul's purpose? Or are you unconsciously rather, perpetuating the patterns, the self-sabotage, and the self-limitations that you don't really want by miscreating your life with these two little words? Hello and welcome. Welcome, everyone. Krish, welcome in. Rose, hello. Linda. I'm Donna Bond. You're watching Spiritual Ambition. This is episode number 29. This is where we tune in to experience our divine nature. And today we're going to talk about these two magic words. You know, when I discovered this tool of transformation, it changed my life in many, many ways that I'm going to share with you today. But we're going to begin, as we always do, closing our eyes and tuning in, taking our attention away from the outer world, unplugging our energy from all of the places that it's out working on your behalf, wherever you are, unless, of course, you're behind the wheel. I want to invite you in. Close your eyes, rest your hands in your lap for just a moment. Feel the beat of your heart and go ahead and take a nice cleansing breath. Just let go. Just drop off anything you no longer need, letting go of anything that no longer serves you. And really, truly imagine that you are calling back and calling in your life force from any to-do list items, anybody who might be looking for you, any incomplete cycles of action. In this moment, just collecting your own energy, rebuilding and strengthening your central column of light in this moment. Infinite universe, we call ourselves forward into your loving. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected with the clear white light of living love. We ask that any karma, negativity, imbalance, any constriction, contraction, old stories, limiting beliefs, any miscreations, any energy or vibrational frequency that is vibrating at anything less than the frequency of divine loving that may be residing anywhere in our consciousness, mentally, physically, emotionally, subconsciously, or energetically, we ask just now that anything with a vibratory frequency that is less than divine loving be lifted and transmuted at this time. taken to the highest realms of light and sound, and dispersed back into the nothingness, into the space we ask to be flooded with light, grace, peace, love, acceptance, compassion, understanding, creativity, aliveness, inner knowingness, and truth. We acknowledge and we welcome only those divine beings of light who love each one of us unconditionally, who work for the divine plan and who work for the light. We welcome only you into this sacred space here today, keeping in mind each of our unique destinies. We ask for your support in bringing forward healing, revelation, and wisdom of the heart that will resonate most profoundly with each individual here for their highest good and the highest good of all concerned. We are so grateful for the opportunity to come together and do this work. For this and more, we say thank you. So be it. Welcome back, welcome in. Hi, Vivian. Hello, Natasha. Hi, Kimberly, Kirsch, Rose. Thank you so much for being here. Well, I'm going to talk today. I'm going to teach today. Actually, we're going to do a soul trip. That's TRIPP, teaching, ritual, intention, practice, or process. Today, we're going to talk all about intentions. And we're not going to really talk about intentions, but I've dedicated this show to the idea of intentions because I'm going to give you some foundation to differentiate between affirmations and intentions. And when we start saying affirmations, that's something that can just take place in our mind. And you hear a lot of people saying like, "Oh, that doesn't work." Well, it's true. It doesn't work because we have to have the full embodiment of the intention. Because when we hold an intention around something, we get our full presence involved with that intention. So it's very different than an affirmation, which is something that we're reciting that's just going on in our mind. But when we have all of our energetics behind something and we have our emotions behind something, and then we fuel that with our energy that is riding on our words and our thoughts, then we're cooking with gas, people. Then we're cooking with gas. Layla, welcome in. Labyrinthia, creation. I don't know, am I saying it right? It's been so many weeks in a row. I keep trying to get it. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Kate, welcome in. Donna, hello. All right, how we always start this show is we join our collective hearts and we invite the light to be sent to all of the places. And today I would like to send that light to all of the places around the world that are experiencing warfare, that are anywhere on the globe where there is an armed conflict that's happening. I would like to send the light there with great intention. If there is someone that you have in your life that is struggling or needs a little boost of upliftment, I know the world is a hot mess right now. And today's show, we're going to address how you can step out of feeling so powerless around what is going on around us and how you can embody and take back and take within your true power to begin to shape your reality around you. And how we do this through intention and through these two little words, I am. So if there's anyone else that you would like to send the light to, I would like to send the light to Betty and Bob, to Celia and Don, to David. We had a few submissions of names here. Kathy, Nadia, Natasha, Maria, Sharon, Eros. Welcome in, Jenny. Thank you for being here. All right, we just take a moment and we hold that intention and we send that light all around the globe. How many of you can actually feel the power of us coming together, the power of our community here, the power of the Sacred Spiral Network, and all of you as you show up here? You know, it's so beautiful when we can tune into that yumminess. You know, hi, Sandra. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. All right. So, we're going to talk about these two little words, I am. And we already, you know, for those of you who are just tuning in, there's really a difference between affirmations and intentions. And affirmations are things that we can get stuck reciting just in our mind. And when we do that, not a lot's going to happen. But when we are fully invested in the embodiment of the intentions that we hold, we are putting all of us, our wholeness, behind what those intentions are. And today I want to talk about these two little words, I am. And, you know, I'm going to promote my book today, Original Wisdom, Harness the Power of the Authentic You. You can find this on Amazon. You can find it on donnabond.com. I'm going to go right to chapter 8. And this chapter is called The Responsibility of I Am. And I'm going to start you off with a Wayne Dyer quote. Wayne says this: "The words I am, which you consistently use to define who you are and what you're capable of, are holy expressions for the name of God, the highest aspect of yourself." I want you to just take that in. When we use these two words, I am, we are enlisting the power of our higher self. I'm actually going to take us to a presentation today. Kelly's got that for me backstage. Yes, Krish, I am. There it is. I am. I'm going to do a little sharing here. So again, this Wayne Dyer quote: "The words I am, which you consistently use to define who you are and what you're capable of, are holy expressions for the name of God, the highest aspect of yourself." So these two little words are such a powerful tool for transformation, because when you use them, you are not only calling in just your higher self, but you're calling in the power of the universe at large. And when you make this verbal statement, you are in alignment with the highest part of you. It's an activation for that part of you. And I want to give you a little visual graphic here. And I want to start from the outer circle inward. You know, everything is energy. Einstein taught us that, right? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just reinvents itself into different forms. So everything is energy, and the universe and all that is this massive energy. Your soul, or your higher self, is a more narrowly focused projection of the energy of all that is. And then we go down even smaller, or I should say, even tighter, into the physical you. You still have this soul essence, this presence, this ignition, this life force energy. That is the energy of all that is, the energy of your soul, but it is being expressed through the physical you. So the magical formula of I am is kind of like the name of this being that is the energetic part of you. It is the energetic formula for creation. And it's the energy within you that takes responsibility for your life. Stay with me on this. This is a powerful connection to force. When we use these words, we are standing in our power because nobody else can say this on your behalf. Nobody else can say, I am for you. You're the only person who can say that. So that's why when you use these words, you are making a declaration. It's like a proclamation. It's like you're drawing a line in the sand because you are the only person who can actually use those words. So when we speak or we think, our word choice is communicating not only to ourselves and the people around us, but we're also communicating to the universe. And the universe is listening. And the universe is like, oh, let's pay attention to what she's saying because matter is going to be organized and then directed into wherever we are placing our energy and our focus and our attention. When we use these words, we're making a statement in the present tense. I am is charged with so much power because it's in the present moment. When you exercise the responsibility as the creator of your life, I am can become a pivotal point of transformation. Using these words is a self-empowering and self-honoring practice because I am literally becomes the reflection of your life and the tools that you can use for visioning. So I want you to stay with me on that because I'm going to give you some examples of how we can use this as a visioning tool. Here's the challenge, and here's where most of us get in trouble. And here's where the state of the world can override or overrule the power that we have within us. And I really want to invite everybody out of the whirlwind of the crazy and the swirl and the pain of everything that's happening. And I want you to remember that you are a powerful creator and that you are here in this body, on this planet, in this life, at this time, specifically to understand your power and to understand your power as a creator. And these two little words are like a magic wand. So I want to talk a little bit about the old programs, AKA limiting beliefs, that are often connected to these two words. Because when we have things that are connected to these two words that are limiting, self-defeating, self-sabotaging, and negative self-talk that get wrapped up around these, we are just perpetuating the suffering. We are perpetuating the suffering. And I know sometimes we don't want to hear that because we want to be heard and we want to experience our feelings and our fear. And I'm not diminishing that in any way because that is also part of it. But this is also part of it. This is part of it in reassessing the framework that we are using in our consciousness to design and to create our life. So when we misuse these two little words, I call it a miscreation, because what we're doing is we are misusing using our own power. One of the ways that we misuse these two words is when we use a statement like, I am not. Sometimes we're like, I'm not created, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not organized, I'm not focused. Whatever your story is, that is a program that we are investing in that isn't serving us. It's not supporting us, it's not helping us, and it's not giving us the experience that we want to have. I want to share, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a minute, but I want to share several miscreations that might sound familiar to you based on what's going on in the world today. And let me know if any of these ring true for you. And if they do, you can, put them in the chat, because we're going to come full circle on this today, and we're going to turn this around. I am powerless. I'm terrified of what's coming. I'm so angry that I can't function. I'm disgusted by humanity. I'm hopeless. Nothing's going to change. I am feeling naive. I can't trust anybody. I'm sick to my stomach every time I see the news. I'm surrounded by evil. I'm living in a broken world. I'm grieving for people that I'll never meet. I'm numb. I've stopped feeling. I'm feeling guilty for having a safe life. I'm overwhelmed by how much suffering exists. These are all real. These are all real. I don't know how else to say it. And we have the opportunity to shift this by placing our focus and our attention on creating a bridge for ourselves around this. And one of the ways that we get caught up in the difficulty of this is where we're caught either in the past or in the future. And we're not in the now, because the past and the future don't really exist. And so when we're in the past or the future, oftentimes we're caught up in our minds. And when we're caught up in our minds, we can just be manufacturing more and more fear about what's going to come out there in the future, when the truth is, right here and now, in this present moment, I am safe. I am whole. I am here. I am present. I am balanced. I am fine. And this is how we can begin to break ourselves out of the trap of getting caught in the swirl of so much negativity. And yeah, it is everywhere right now. There's nothing that we can read. There's nothing that we can put on the television that isn't going to bring this into our awareness. And this is what makes it even more important for us to consciously choose what it is we are consuming into our awareness and into our consciousness, as well as what we are contributing back out into the field. You are the field. You are part of the field. You're part of the field. I'm part of the field. Can you believe that if we all held a different vision for the world, that we would begin to move or shift in that direction. I promise you it's possible. But we're so hypnotized by the drama and the pain that what we're doing is we're feeding it with our energy. We're feeding it with our life force. We're feeding it with our power. I really want to invite you in this moment to take your power back into you. You are a spiritual being on an epic human adventure, and you have a lot more power than you believe, that you have been led to believe. And I want to invite you into tasting that in this moment, into feeling into that in this moment. Hi, Anja. Welcome in. Asraf, welcome. Hello. All right, everyone, if you're just tuning in with us now, we are talking about two really powerful words, I am. And we're looking at what are the things that we consciously or unconsciously connect to and attach to these two little words, I am. Because when we say those words, we are igniting our own power. We're calling our life force into leadership. We're calling our life force into leadership. All right, I'm going to see if I can share my screen again without messing it up. Let me see if I can do it. All right. One of the other things that I want to point out about the future and the past is when we begin to shape intentions around what it is we would like to experience, we do not want to put it out into the future. And, when we start crafting our life, envisioning our life, oftentimes, the reality of it is I'm not really there yet. So we start saying things that keep things in the future, things such as one day I will be, one day we'll have world peace, or one day there won't be any wars going on around us. Another sort of trickery is when we say, I'm trying. Well, if you're trying, you're not doing. Or I'm getting there. When we make a statement that we have placed in the future, it keeps it away from us because it keeps it in the future. So part of the importance when we are creating and we are using the power of these two words, I am, is that we want to land it in the now. We want to speak it and say it and think it as if it's happening right here and right now. So you can look around your life and you can probably find some opportunities where you can recreate what you have projected onto the future, right? And you heard all of my really scary statements. I am powerless. I am terrified. I am angry. I am disgusted by humanity. I'm hopeless. I'm going to shred this. I put this on a separate piece of paper so that I could destroy it because I don't want it around. Because this is not where I rest my mind. These are not thoughts that I want to be invested in. And I'm speaking them out loud today for you just as an example so that you can find a point of familiarity, because I know how difficult it is out there right now for everyone and how much struggle we're all in and how easy it feels to be attached to what we think is the reality of this. There is a way out. There is a way out. But we have to start with the one in the mirror. You know, I know it's a cliche, but it's true. We have to begin recreating inside of ourselves so that we can begin to embody what it is we want to experience. I already talked a little bit about I'm not. One of the important parts about this is we can't just go from, I am not organized to I'm the most organized person in the world, because we don't believe it, because we don't buy into it, because there's parts of our consciousness that aren't on board with that. And this is why we can't just come up with a new affirmation and start reciting it and have it work, because we have to have all 4 levels of our consciousness on board with what it is we're saying. So what I like to say is, let's build a bridge. And can we create, recreate, or formulate a sentence that does feel like something that I can begin to get on board with, something that I can begin to believe? And so I have some examples here. We can go from I'm not organized to I am creatively expressing myself and getting support where I need it. Sounds completely different. It feels completely different inside of your whole system. Emotionally, it feels different. Energetically, it feels different. There's like an expansion to it. There's some hope to it and some positivity to it. It's not toxic positivity, but it's moving us in the right direction so that we can get away from the fixation that we have on repeating what it is we don't want. So I have another example here. I'm not a good time manager. I have some examples that are a little bit more relevant to the state of the world that we're in right now. But I want to give these sort of straight up, simple examples because they're clear and to the point. So we can go from saying, I'm not a good time manager to something like, I'm placing my full attention in the present moment, giving my energy and focus to what's in front of me right now. Or I'm not in love with this job. I am not in love with this job. Well, holy smokes, that was so true for me for such a long time. That was my mantra. Told everybody, went around saying it again and again and again. And what happened? I suffered because I was not in love with that job. And I felt all of the pain every time that came off my lips, because it comes off of our lips and it goes out into the field and then it comes back to us. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how it works. We have to embody what it is that we are sending out into the field, and then the field is going to return that to us. And this is why when there is so much chaos and pain and struggle and war and pain and fear going on in the collective, the worst thing that we can do is to take that in and embody that, because then we're just feeding it, we're activating it, we're enlivening it. Our soul is a power. It is a force, a powerful, purposeful force within us. And The way that we're learning about our power is through discernment, right? It's in that discernment that we get to experiment with our power in all the different areas of our life. So if we're not exercising discernment about how we're using our power, then we are going to misuse our power. We are going to miscreate our life. So I'm going to give you a real life example on this. And I'm going to take you back. This was at the very beginning of my journey, the very beginning of my spiritual awakening. And I want to just walk you through the outer and the inner and how that worked. So I had a frozen shoulder, and I went around telling everyone all the time, I'm in constant pain. I'm only able to lift my arm to here. I'm suffering from a frozen shoulder. I'm exhausted. I'm doing everything that I can to fix this and make it better, but it's not getting better. That was my story. That was what I told everyone. That was the outer. This was the outer expression of what was really going on inwardly. So what was going on inwardly? Well, this is where we always have an opportunity for healing, where we have an opportunity to shift and grow and evolve. But we have to be willing to look at what's going on inwardly. Well, here's what was really going on for me. I was stuck in my life. I was unhappy in my career. But I had some belief systems that were operating that told me I was too old and sick and tired to do anything other than what I was doing. So I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world around on my shoulders. I felt burdened by my finances. I felt burdened by my responsibilities. I felt burdened by my relationships. This was all going on inside of me. These were real things that needed to be addressed. They needed to be looked at. They needed to be loved. They needed to be healed, because it's in that process of doing the deeper inner healing work that we begin to excavate the misbeliefs and the misunderstandings that hold in place the negative storylines that we keep recycling over and over and over again. You see the figure 8 that I have, or the infinity symbol rather, that I have on the screen, because that's what we do. What we send out is what we get back. And what we send out has to come from inside of us. So stay with me. So the belief systems that were operating around all of that discontent that I just described was, I believed my frozen shoulder was happening to me. I believed that it was unrealistic at the age of 45 to believe that I could do anything different than what I went to college for, than what I had great tenure in doing when I was a hospitality marketing executive. I had done that for so many years. I believed that that was the only thing that I could do because I had history doing it. I believed that the situation was out of my control. And, okay, this is a tricky one. The more I complained, the more attention I received, and the more that reinforced what I didn't want. I want to say that one again. The more I complained, the more I received attention, which was reinforcement to what I didn't want. So again, you see that negative loop that we get caught in. Ooh, hope I didn't mess up the sound there. Is this resonating for you guys? Can anybody Drop me in the chat. Is this like, does anyone have a real life experience that has happened to you where you know you have a greater level of responsibility to take with the storyline that you're putting out into the world? Yes, Kimberly, thank you. All right, so here's where the rubber meets the road, as we say. One day, my coach asked me this question. And I remember when I was in coaching school, one of my instructors said, if your coach is not triggering you, then they're probably not doing their job. And that's very real. So my coach at the time said to me, Donna, and she said this with so much compassion and love and understanding. She said, Donna, when are you going to take responsibility for your health? Oh my God. I was so triggered. I was incensed with pain and anger and fury. I couldn't even believe that she was saying this to me because I was like, what do you mean I'm not taking responsibility? I'm going to the doctor and I'm getting physical therapy and I'm doing all these holistic remedies and treatments. And I was doing all of these things. All of those things I was doing were outside of me. They were outside of me, and I was still positioning myself as a victim, really, that this was happening to me and that I was powerless to it and didn't have any control over it. And that was a misunderstanding. Because as soon as I recognized what she was really asking me, she was like asking me, when are you going to embody health? When are you going to embody what it is you really want to experience? So that led me to this. I began crafting I am statements that I call I am reflections. I began architecting the out picturing, which was really the in picturing, which was really the inner experience that I wanted to have. As I began bringing clarity to this and deepening in the potential and the possibilities of this, I began to heal and look at the places inside of myself that needed to address the deeper misunderstandings, the deeper misbeliefs. So I began to speak out loud every single day. I am in the flow. I am joyful. I am awake. I am flexible. I'm feeling amazing. I am radiant health and well-being. I am moving with ease. I can't quite see all of my handwriting this far away. I am aliveness. I am whole. I am vitality. Hi, Michael. Welcome in. As I began to gain the clarity around this, I had a better understanding of what then was out of alignment. And the things that were out of alignment needed to be addressed. They needed to be handled. And I began to handle them. And as I handled them on the deeper level, things started to shift. Things started to shift inside of me. So there's three main parts to this when we are recreating our life. We want to get clarity around the experience. And that means, what do you want and why do you want it? The why do you want it is even more important than what do you want. I want peace because I want harmony. I want peace because I want connection. I want peace because I want humanity to thrive. Yeah, I can feel that. Thank you to all of you who are feeling into that with me. Yeah, there's some real tenderness around this. There's real emotion around this. I cannot underestimate conveying to you the power that you have to begin shaping the world that you want to see. And it has to begin inside of you. But as we begin to hold these ideals, and I'm going to call them ideals, we can live into them and we can share them amongst groups like this group, this community. And then that power begins to build. So we want to bring in that clarity around the what and the why. We want to align our thoughts, our words, our feelings, our actions, and our behaviors. This is the difference between an affirmation and an intention. Okay. Because when I create an intention, I'm bringing all of me. And I'm going to demonstrate to you what I'm talking about. And I have a gift for all of you. If you would like some of these I am reflections, you're going to be able to download them at spiritualambitionsoultrip.com. And I invite you to use them and speak them out loud. But I want to finish talking about this. And then here's the third piece of this. And this is the part that can be difficult, is we can't have an attachment to it, because when we are attached to something, there is an energy of gripping. There's an energy of forcing, right? And we see that out in the world. Like, we're so repelled by all of the things that are happening that we are bringing that energy of force to it. That's creating a collision. That's creating more strife. That's creating more struggle, more pain, more adversity. So I really want to invite us all to let go and to remember and to trust that there is a higher unfolding that is happening in and through and around every single person on this planet, that you are connected to something greater, something bigger. And while on the surface, it looks like the world is going to hell, what's really happening is that we are in the middle of a great awakening, because the way that we have been living is not sustainable. And the systems that existed in the world were only supporting some of the people here, not all of the people here. So things are breaking down, and it's going to be messy and difficult and painful. And we can be responsible enough to begin to visualize how we want it to go and how we want to put it back together. Because if we use our precious life force energy to keep plugging in to all of the scary, effed up media that's going on out there, we're just feeding it. We are literally fanning the fire. I cannot stress this enough. And I hear the criticism like, oh, what are we going to do? Just bury our heads in the sand? Maybe right now that wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe right now, the most important thing that we can do is be personally responsible for our own frequency and vibration that is not a triggered nervous system that is setting off fireworks of more stress everywhere we go. And instead, we can be emanating from a place of peace. All right, I'm going to show you one more screen, and then I'm going to stop with the screen sharing. As we create this, we want to include all 4 levels of our consciousness. And again, this is the difference between an affirmation that it probably isn't going to do anything because it's going to be caught up only in your mind, and a true intention that has behind it the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical. We can't just come up with a bunch of affirmations and then sit on the couch and think like something's going to happen. It's not. We live in this dense three-dimensional reality. Action is required. Action is required. Energy is required. Emotion is required. Use your powers for good. As a creator, I am now willing to let go of the old story of I am powerless, and I'm willing to recreate the story that I am a spiritual being having a human experience, and I'm here to learn about my power, to create with my power, to design my life with the power that lives inside of me. Yes, Benno, or we're all going to go crazy. Thank you for the hearts, Michael. Hello, me and my shadow with the I am. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and see if I can get a little more intimate here with everyone. You're welcome to download this. This is my gift to you. And I'm going to share these right now because I have organized them into the 4 different categories of our consciousness, just to give you an idea of the different latitude of your dimensionality. You are so incredible. You have such magnificence. We overlook it because we're so plugged in to things that are not serving us. Let's break out of the hypnotism of the horror, the hypnotism of the evil. We must align ourselves with what it is that we are for and what it is we want to create, not in a place of againstness, because the againstness is the force and the crash that we have been in for thousands of years behind us. Each one of us has to take responsibility to align our own self. So spiritually, we are literally invoking our original wisdom, because this is how we remember who we are at a soul level. I am held by and part of something greater than any government or institution. I am divinely guided and deeply trust that my path is perfect for me. I'm trusting the soul's perspective, even when the human part of me struggles to understand. I want you to pay attention to what's happening on a spiritual level for you as I speak these out loud. And, this is something that I overlooked that I really want to get this point across. Your voice is your magnetism. Your voice is your presence. Your voice is carrying your power. Your voice is carrying your power. It is quite literally how we take our essence and put it out into the world. Think about that. Think about the power of that. Everything that is coming off of your lips is infused with your energy, with your essence. And that has a power to it. I am a sovereign being that no external force can diminish. I am a sovereign being that no external force can diminish. I am the light radiating peace and upliftment all around me. If you want these, you can download them. Go to spiritualambitionsoultrip.com soultripp.com. There's 2 P's on Soul Tripp. I am awake, and my awakening is a guidepost for others. Just feel how you feel in your body when you say these, when you think these, when you embody these. I am anchored in love, even when the world reflects fear. I am anchored in love. I am peace and presence, and I am owning my authentic power. I am slowing down, and I am finding my center. Those are all under the spiritual category. Here's the mental category. Let's get our thinking aligned. I am an observer, not a victim of what is unfolding. I am an observer, not a victim of what is unfolding. I'm choosing where I place my attention and where I place my energy. You have the power of choice. Don't forget that. You have a choice in every moment. Kelly and I were talking before the show about choosing happiness. We get to choose it. You have that power. Don't forget it. I am responsible for my own consciousness. I'm responsible for my consciousness. I'm responsible for what I put in my consciousness. I'm responsible for how I ingest things into my consciousness. I am aware that the world we've been living in is unsustainable. As I witness the breakdown around me, I am called to greater purpose through it. I am grounded in my core, even when the surface is stirred. Now let's talk about the emotional level and the feelings that you want to have. I am safe in this present moment. I feel safe. I am releasing what's not mine to carry. I am returning to a place of peace and calm. I am grieving, yet I'm rooted in my own compassion and in my own tenderness. So this is not a bypass. We're not saying that we don't deeply care about what's happening in the world. There's a lot of grief and there's a lot of pain, and we can be with that. That's what compassion is. That's what compassion means, to suffer with, to be with. So when we're compassionate with others, with ourselves, with what's going on in the world, that's a way that we are bringing our love to what's happening. And when we bring our love to what's happening, that's how we heal. And that's how the world can heal. So we don't want to ignore it, but we want to be intentional about how we're relating to it. I am feeling whole and resourced and enough. I'm allowing my body to soften. That one's actually probably more physical. And here are the physical. And the physical is not just the physical body, but this is the physical actions that we can be taking out in the world. I am here in my body with my breath. I am grounded in the here and now. I am supported by the earth beneath me. I am the change that I wish to see. I am a healing presence in my own corner of the world, and I am a force for good simply by being myself. I hope that you found this helpful today. I hope that you found these I am reflections uplifting and valuable to you. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to share that the more you begin to embody these, you don't want to just read these. You want to speak them out loud. You want to stand in them and declare them to the universe. And don't just use what I've given you. Write some of your own. Take your power and use your powers for good. All right. It is 22 past the hour. We are already at completion here today. We're actually going to skip the celebration of Love's Alchemy. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for the feedback. Again, everybody, you can download these at spiritualambitionsoultrip.com. Stay courageous out there. Stay in your heart. Let me close our space. We just place our attention on our heart and we remember that we are powerful, sovereign beings. We are beings of love and light. We are not our thoughts, our feelings, or our behaviors. We are spiritual beings making our way through this epic human adventure. In every moment, we have a choice of how we're going to relate to something and how we're going to create something, recreate something. We are now closing all energetic lines of communication between any of us, closing all open portals, gateways, channels, agreements, and lines of communication between any of us and the spirit world. We are grateful and we say thank you. I am now closing our space in love, with love, for love, by love, as love. I'm Donna Bond. This is Spiritual Ambition. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for being here today. Stay brave. Thank you.